everyone. I'm Dasan, Southern poet, North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, here in the Triangle, man, living in Durham, North Carolina. Shouts out to all my Southern Fried folks. Shouts out to all the poets all across the country. Shouts out to my Bull City folks and all of that. And today I just, and thinking about my birthday weekend, I just wanted to share some poems, to share some words, because in addition to being involved and being able to work beside a lot of great people out in the community trying to make some things happen, man, I continue to try to write and tell stories and deliver messages that help to reflect the beauty of the people that I'm around all the time, to use them as a way of kind of pushing back at the narrow-minded bias thinking that kind of locks us into these spaces and categories we can't escape from, and to help push the dynamic of things. And so with that being said, I was saying that I walked into an open mic in like 1998, and that began this whole journey as an artist. And in thinking about that journey, I wrote a piece for an upcoming project that kind of described the feeling of stepping into this space and also stepping into artistry in the midst of becoming to understand what our responsibility is for the way that we move through the world, being ushered into social justice work and organizing, and just so I decided that on this next project, I was going to have a real quick rant just about the way that things kind of move for me. So this is the rant. It should go pretty well, considering the fact that, I'm practiced on this. Here we go. If the vision is the gift, then the words are a tool, just a way to paint a picture and help the message settle quicker. So I studied and I noted how to pen and deliver, found a stage for my thoughts and a mic that was open. I found some people who would let me tell my side for a moment. If I thought it, I could own it, write it out, spit, code it, found a space to let my mind free, a space to really find me, at least find me that the heavens destined me to be. And name myself a ruler, let my gift take command. I let the language document, journal open, pen in hand. But my vision was the force, that's what most don't understand. Someone finally saw the light, asked me about my sight. Was that all I had to write? From that moment I was seen, and from that instance I'm convinced I've been writing to be seen like that of a sense. It's the syntax in the diction that allowed me to be better, helps it all come together, that allowed me to maneuver. But it comes with a cost, and that's the price for the work. Got to live in public, but still be an introvert. Let it spill out on the stage, but be private when you leave. Get to hear the gossip come, let them keep what they believe, stay away from indulgence, hold your values, keep it real, watch for snakes and the doves till the game is revealed. With a snake, you know to bite, and you looking for the hiss. With a dove, you looking at chaos that's been packaged like it's bliss. See, I be penning this, some rejoice and some get pissed. Anything out my squares, ignored and then dismissed. What I hear is excuses, seeing people acting foolish, wolves penning sheep, where the words is where the proof is. I done peeped the illusion, I survived the confusion. Beat down by my own, I wore the bruises and contusions, took a broken heart and made a mission out the pain, committed to the art, made a life out the gains. But give yourself to people they were praising, call it love. Will let you be a martyr, watch you fall and call it karma. Take the blame for their actions like they grace a suit of armor. I done gave and sacrificed, I done lost and got it back. Compromised and confronted, stood my ground and got attacked. Withstood and still prevailed. I'm not as famous or as rich, but I'm here and I made it out the mud, out the ditch, out depression, out the doubt, past the running of their mouth. Has the subtle bits of bias about them artists from the South. The vision got me through. That's the gift I owe my savior. Help me be one of the baddest putting pens to some paper. I'm proud to be from the South. I'm proud to be a Southern artist. I'm proud to be a Southern poet. I'm proud to be a scholar from the South. I'm dedicated to both not only looking at and talking about the world, but also talking about the South, because it's important. And in these moments, we've been bastardized and stigmatized and looked at crazy for so long, man. And we are that guilty conscience over the shoulder. We are that dark part of history that folks are still trying to run away from. But we here, we down here. And so I always feel that it's important to let folks know that they can keep all that BS about down home, man. And they just need to recognize how beautiful it is down here, just like it's beautiful in so many other places. And I got a chance to be introduced to the idea of thinking about the people, and how powerful it is, bottom up, not top down. And so, because there's so much blood, sweat, and tears, and so much sweat equity dedicated to pushing through down here, I gotta always talk about down home. They act like the sun shine different down home, like the dirt too dark for repentance, like civilized stop at the Mason-Dixon, like guilt dense as fog east of the Mississippi. Say it show sound like selective amnesia around here. So you can still smell the ash in the air, plantations, crosses, hay, trash, pit cookers, stump hole steels, churches, but don't we walk like resistance in spite of? Smile like a belief in the up on high, laugh like cotton was tickling the field hollers out of us. Each house is a hymnal down here. Each penny-colored cheek is a joyful noise, the kind of noose is supposed to silence. Down here is a boot camp for the forgotten, mud trudged, weeds pulled, dirt dominated. We know planting, tilling, picking, feeding, feasting. We know ain't no tomorrow better realized than by hard work and redemption. We know that backwoods ain't the opposite of progress, that dirt roads don't mean deserted. The hospitality ain't a subtle surrender. Down home, we know they see us as natural disaster. I say, ain't we calm in the eye of a hurricane? Ain't we the American dream's guilty conscience? Ain't we the best example of make something out of nothing to wade in the water and swing low? Ain't we a blues lick? Ain't we a second line reverie? Ain't we a joyful noise on Sundays? Ain't we chitlin circuit genius and golf? From the Gulf to the Great Lakes, ain't we spread out on the table? Ain't we clothes on your back? Ain't we the yesterday you want to so desperately forget? The tomorrow you can't make without us? Ain't we magic? Ain't we? Ain't we here? Ain't we? Ain't we gonna be here? Ain't we? Ain't we life, love, joy, overcoming, glory, glory, hallelujah? Ain't we an amen? Ain't we? Ain't we? Amen. That Southern thing runs deep, man. And I remember having a particular experience at a national poetry event when I kind of started to really see just the thoughts of the South, and then going from there to being at an educational conference, and then also being at a national conference of organizers, and just these intersecting perceptions. And so what I ended up writing is what I call a Southern Manifesto. I'm a tall glass of Southern comfort, a poem off the tongue of a chaplift soothsayer with buck teeth chomping at the bit to tell you the ink spills like oil by the hand that put it there. So don't make your page an ocean of mine. The congressman's daughter's trust fund when both pages are filled by the same crude inspiration. Do not paint. My impact and my passion is popular. It is purpose. It is a Roberta Flack bravado and a Bob Dylan guitar riff, all soulful and socially relevant. You cannot martyr your malcontent in Scottsboro now. My significance pushing people to consider someone else's words over mine and locking me in a category I cannot escape from. There is wisdom in collard green concertos seasoned with fat back discernment cured in the southern sun. I feel uncomfortable around you sometimes, like a cherry orchard in the middle of a landfill, right with the realization of how bad this world can be when so many want the attention, but so few want the responsibility, and you cannot costume your conviction in Party City. Can't you see that I am an origami slave ship ancestry force-folded in this imperialistic impotence where it makes sense to screw up people's lives but never bother to come to understand the extent of the damage caused, but you cannot exoticize my craftsmanship. We are all broken Macy's Christmas bowls, fractured fragments of foregone conclusion that every good thing comes to an end, and I want to pour you a bowl of cereal, fill it with milk like Elmer's glue so I can restore the innocent adhesive you used to have, and I want it to be Cheerios. So that when those small puckers kiss your lips, you can become comfortable in your own skin. You don't have to battle your perception of what comes from mine. For too long, we've been living loud in silence. Never speaking to the heart of me dying to meet you. I have wished for something more, but this world will make us believe it's okay to screw each other over. But I don't want to be infected with malice, believing there's something hidden inside of you like Trojan horses against me. And I find myself popping condom wrappers like Oxycontin so I can cover up my disgust and swallow my pride when the sun rises like morning after pills so I don't birth any conflict. But I've had enough. I've decided to let my pen fight. I have nicknamed it Emiliana Zapata because it's better to spit on your feet than live on your knees. And I am a sycamore with metaphors like strange fruit dangling from my tongue and the label Southern poet around my neck like an albatross. But I grow wiser and I grow stronger. Because I am Lena Horne's raspy revolution. I am Josephine Baker's underappreciated brilliance. I am Dave Chappelle's radical refusal and Lauryn Hill's misunderstood insanity. I am Jay-Z's business acumen and Kanye's ego, because I ain't a businessman. I'm a business man, so let me handle my business. Damn, I am Ginsberg's late night indulgences and Norman Rockwell's perfectly painted paradox. I am here, and I am a poem, and I am just like you. That's my Southern Manifesto. We can't escape the news right now. And part of the reason why we have to kind of sit in this moment and be honest is because we try to escape being responsible for all the things that have happened historically. But there's a reason for us to pull together and fight, y'all. There's a reason for us to stand arm in arm in battle against resistance and resist against oppression, marginalization, resist against the violence, resist against narrow-minded thinking, the manipulation, the empty rhetoric, the unfulfilled promises. And so my last book of poetry was called Everything We're Fighting For, an Exploration of Being Black in America. And it was it came out of a series of workshops that I was doing, sitting with artists, talking about arts activism and the way that we, think of ourselves as artists in this world, and alongside in the solidarity with the movements and actions that are happening and have been happening, associated with all the social movements that have been a part of pushing for change in this country in modern times. And the title piece for that book is what I'm going to share next. And it's called Everything We're Fighting For. There's a joy that comes with seeing groups of children playing in an open field, a twinge in your gut that comes with passing the sun-kissed testimony in tattered clothes. He out there holding court on the corner. Smile that forms when a phone affirms that hard work is placed, another snapshot of Black excellence where the world can see. There's an affirming head nod that says that in a room of obstacles and expectation that we belong here. There's pride that beams at youthful recital, cheers that accompany athletic achievement. There's a hug that starter pistols the next glorious gathering of friends, laughter that chronicles the best of times, tears that fall during the worst of times. And these are the moments that let us know that there is so much we're fighting for. I know there's a cadre of will talking about toppling institutions and dismantling systems of oppression in the back room of a church, 2 prayers from a liquor house, down the street from a school named after an optimist, around the corner from a complex considered an eyesore with low property values that has birthed more blessings than bastards. These dedicated rebels are planning demonstration, coordinating child care, identifying roles and tasks, and building capacity with a passion unmatched. Their discussions are a joyful noise. These are the visionaries that know there is so much we're fighting for. See, there's promise wrestling with purpose in the classroom during the late hour. They're inspired by the tales of ancestors before, searching for victory after. They came with questions and leaving with a focused strategy. This is where developing minds seek greater understanding, past professors and syllabi together. They are dreaming, hoping, crying, preparing. Their careers and families are distant actualizations of a tuition-paid journey. Today is where they sharpen their skills at crafting a wonderfully sculpted happy ending. Tomorrow, they will march in demand, pushing administration to consider that dorm rooms are not margins, that the blueprints for their future should have the etchings of their own hands. They are everything worth fighting for. Their neighborhoods to reclaim, lost lives to honor with resilience, names to say, legacies to build, ancestors to invoke, texts to review, positions to be held, stories to be told, lessons to be learned, insight to be passed, programs to be developed. There is work to be done, y'all. My God, don't you feel it? Can't you see it? There is truth clothesline along the horizon, hung by angels who want us to see what this world is meant to be. There, drying by the light of the sun, is woven inspiration covered in the tears of those who left before the battle is won. And sitting in your house right now is a mirror with an honest tongue and a glimmer in its eye, waiting to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you. It has a message to deliver in familiar clarity, a promise to make, a revelation to share, a desire to let you know that if you look there, it can show you everything worth fighting for. When I think about everything we're fighting for, I got to think about my young folks, man. Some of the kids I've had the pleasure to teach, I've watched grow up, the mentees that I have. My mother always told me when I was young I was going to be a teacher. I didn't believe it. And, you know, I had a lot of different professional walks of life before stepping into art and culture. And in stepping into art and culture, finding myself in front of a classroom. From workshops to actually teaching students on a college campus, preparing curriculum. And every time I think about the young folks that I'm around, the kind of young folks who continue to look to us for guidance and insight and continue to show up on the front lines to face the things that they feel strongly about, I just look at them as superheroes, y'all. And so in thinking about that, I wanted to chronicle that. I wanted to write something that honored the fact that I see them as superheroes. It's funny, Christopher Reeve had this quote, and I think that it was appropriate to take this quote from someone who played the superhero that, for those of us who are a little older, just, you know, we can never forget. It says, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. So this is all the superheroes I know, especially for those who work on HBCU campuses. I don't know why we continue to have a conversation about why they exist and why they're relevant and why they're necessary. Anytime that comes up, I wonder, have you ever been on one? Have you ever attended one? Have you ever graduated from one? If not, you might want to visit. And if you have and you still think they're unnecessary, then we got a whole nother conversation to have. See, my mother always told me I'd be a teacher, and I ignored her as many young folks do their parents and set my sights on grander and more lucrative endeavors. I perceived a taste and illusion someone told me that I should have, spent time lending my talents to a tin man of a system, only to find myself the victim of heartless disloyalty. But along the way, me and my pen came to terms with the marriage of purpose and blessing, took a title, accepted responsibility, and found ourselves in front of a classroom. When I called my mother to told her I had been promoted from artist in residence to a professor, my expectation was that I was going to get an I told you so. She didn't let me down. Then she lifted me up in prayer to a God that kept her son out of harm's way, helped him find his way, gave him gifts, and taught him how to use them to teach others. I remember the smile that I heard through the phone. I carried Withinki campus, showed off to the students who enter my class. I'm a shepherd to the extraordinary, who haven't been helped to understand the power they possess. My job is to teach them how to use their talents, harness their uncanny abilities, and oh my God, do they have superpowers? Check it. There's a young man from Southern California who had his heart ripped out by betrayal, so he replaced it with a burning desire to succeed, covered in resentment like a suit of armor, and I have to show him that what's possible is in stark contrast to what he has been told. There's a beautiful young woman in tight ripped jeans who only sees the world in shades of gray, telekinetic, willing objectivity into well-crafted essays with elder siblings who try to murder her self-esteem. I tell her that like a phoenix, she will be reborn even stronger. I've learned that invisibility is the ability to be in a room and still be ignored. There is a girl in the back of my classroom, not unseen. I know she is there. I let her know that the force field of apathy she puts up will not keep me from showing her that she is fantastic. Now, I teach composition and rhetoric, creative writing, alchemy. If you believe that learning to work the elements of craft can alter what matters, think and you can write, listen and you can learn, read and react. Aptitude is a desire. Let me show you how to harness hard work. Javante was just trying to claw his way out of the streets. Adamantium mentality said never be broke, so he stuck to his ways instead of sticking to them books until he was struck. I keep expecting him to wake up because I want to believe in quick healing factors. There was a freshman cheerleader. Her desire to fit in had her adopting the bad habits of the people she came in contact with. She kept going rogue for my class. I want to convince her it's her potential that is untouchable. They got a kid they call Strange who wants to be a doctor. I help him hone his eloquence so he can cast spells on those who might doubt his promise. There's a football player ashamed of his brilliant analytical mind because he's more celebrated for his hulking presence on the field. There's a New York native who's so absent from my class he's a ghost. He randomly shows up to straddle desk chairs like a motorcycle, trying to navigate the parallel dimensions of hell at home and the responsibility of school. See, I know people with superpowers, and I marvel at the possibilities. Some change in the costume before leaving their room. Some can't mask who they were born to be. Mutants don't get to have alter egos. The nerds, the cool kids, the jocks, they come to me for answers. I try to help them uncover the secrets that let them know that they can find them on their own. I never expected to be here, but I couldn't imagine not being here, using my ability to read and influence minds to school these gifted youngsters. See, I called my mother to tell her I was a professor. My expectation was she was going to give me an I told you show. She didn't let me down, to lifted up my purpose when she asked, "Hey, baby, do you enjoy what you do?" And I told her, "Mom, don't you understand? I get to work with superheroes." But I also worry. I worry about all of them. I know all of us who work with young folks do, especially in times like these. I had so many conversations with folks, just worried about their babies. And that crazy dynamic, just like they happened with us when we were young, where, you got to get real up in age before you start getting referred to as their babies. And I found myself doing the same thing. But I worry about them. And I really want them, just like my elders felt, my ancestors felt for us. I want them to outlive me. I don't want to lose any of them. I don't want to lose any more. And them tears hurt too much for the ones that aren't here right now. And so I think about how hard it is to mourn for wilted flowers. See, my grandmother loved to tell people about the features she credited to the Cherokee in her lineage, and not my father. Learned me that the legacy is more important than those responsible. When the next young Black tomorrow is laid in a casket, what features will be claimed? Will the streets, activists, newspapers claim that legacy is more important than those responsible? Martyrdom has become the new puberty. Adolescence is a ticking time bomb seen as Black terrorism. Uniform response is deemed fatal heroism. By jury boxes with no tongue and no backbone. Don't hold toy guns, baby boy. Don't hold a belief that arrival will mean order, baby girl. Don't move, don't breathe, don't hope, don't be. Contractions are abbreviated lifespans delivered by reapers who relish for moments to touch darkness and manipulate pride. Since when were siblings supposed to say goodbye to little brother making pilgrimage to pearly gates in their arms? Since when are we supposed to get used to flowers bedded in asphalt becoming pollinated by the bumblebee of gunshots? There is reason to attack the present from all sides until the future submits to our will. The past is filled with premature obituaries. Respectability is an improper eulogy. Ain't no need to sanitize our culture. They've been wiping our blood off the concrete. The smell of bleach is the new mistress to the dawn sun. Whiteout used to be appropriate as the tool to erase the presence of Black ink. Now white media is the preferred tool to negate the humanity of Black names. This here be a call for an organized strategic awakening. Oppression is a brown thumb gardener tending to communities disregarded by the city's fungal sense of fiduciary responsibility. Shop transplanted in media outlets, flowers cut down before their purpose sees fruition. Concerned waterlogging the shoulders of blossoming buds gathered in a protective motherly embrace. Too little light shine on predatory or prejudiced practices. There is no beautiful plan for these blessings to flourish and grow. Flowers, 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 they wilt. a paper mache comic book. The God colored beautiful. Perfect for a woman who thinks I'm Mr. Fantastic, but until then, I'll embrace my Sue Storms because they remind me of all the natural disasters of my past. This is a reminder that Galactus has sucked the life out of the celestial bodies that I have fallen in love with. Listen to the surfer that does his bidding, silver-tongued devil that it is. There's a metaphor there. And I tend to do that a lot. My ex wanted a simile. I was supposed to like the ass for this. Something about these two unlike things that we were when you compared us. We weren't so different after all. She just wasn't ready to extend this past indulgence thing. I did it again. But I can't help it. It's my coping mechanism. It's how I make sense of the world around me. It's how I can help people to understand these thoughts that are running around in my head. Y'all, I remember that I was getting dressed for a show in DC in the bathroom beside a homeless man. For a minute, we were exactly the same, both trying to look presentable. Only I was trying to look like I didn't live like him, because some days we're afraid to be free. I want to tell poets to not wear camouflage, because the power and resiliency in your words will make them afraid of you. How long before they paint you as a problem? How long before they start to call you insurgent? I want to tell young Black kids, stop walking with their hands up. Looks too much like walking across burning sands, carrying a cross. How long before they martyr you in the asphalt Bibles, the Mr. Chalk outlines, your blood like Jesus' last words, y'all? I went into a parking deck with my friends behind me. I went past empty opportunity, went up the ramp, they stayed behind me, they cussed me out for passing up the good spots. I was just leaving them space to choose. How did I become responsible for their inability to make their own decisions? Some days I don't feel like teaching. I write in metaphor because I was taught that princes with mediocre work ethic would never become kings here. So I graffiti bridge God's bruised tears to a red reminder the night doesn't love us. I understand how powerful words are. You know, like ink on cotton parchment, posters that told the tale of welt-wit fireflies that were brought over here on ships, bottled like model ships. Now oppressors pour us like fine wine into sports and entertainment. They died in the cotton fields. Their narrative is written in indelible ink. And I wonder if oppressors laugh when we airbrush obituaries on white tees. Y'all, I write in metaphor. Because I met a woman who was a builder. She had a brain tumor. She said she needed something else to build after establishing a successful tutoring program before the high interest loan on her life with the balloon payment at the end foreclosed on her. I met a woman who told me she hadn't written in 6 years. Since her father committed suicide, she said she lost the words. After I performed, she walked up to me and told me she found them again. The next morning, she sent me the poem she wrote the night before. See, she was able to finally give words to that bedtime story after she realized her father was the one who was going to always be sleeping. See, we're just stained glass windows, y'all. That everyone looks at whole, calls beautiful, but nobody bothers to understand the pieces, man. I sit and think about how there are bookshelves full of hardbound books, nursing homes full of stories that nobody wants to read anymore. They call them old, but there's a table of contents in their eyes of perseverance and their smile. If you're willing to sit there, you can find all the wisdom that you will ever need to know. So there's an unemployment line of insecurities forming on the pages of my notebook. So I social service them back to work in your mind to let us know that there is more work to be done. Y'all are right in metaphor, because I am the product of the greatest metaphor I've ever known. My own Mary Magdalene, who taught me that my father's absence was immaculate conception. Who saw me become the 3 wise men that she never knew I would be, praying to that North Star as I became a poet, educator, scholar. In honor of her, I am dedicated to giving this world all that I have, y'all, and what I have, and what I can offer are these metaphors. Now, I was born in Raleigh, North Carolina, but I'm so, one of the things I'm very proud of is how Durham adopted me. Being adopted by Durham was just a beautiful and wonderful thing, man. And shouts out to the Bull City. It's a beautiful place, and I've grown so much since I came to Durham in 04. Supported the Hayti Heritage Center and so many wonderful organizations and organizers and groups and all of this, it's just so much. And being able to give back to Durham as much as I can. Because y'all, I'm in a city that got rich off of tobacco leaves. A pity that so many get sick off of tobacco leaves. But look at how a city gets gritty after tobacco leaves. When gunshots leave smoke like green between tobacco leaves. High off that weed, no seeds between tobacco leaves. I live in Bull City with cats and bullheaded. Mama's faith is no bull in the heavens where she headed. Don't question Big Mama about nothing the pastor said it. From the street to the job, it's all about work ethic. For some, the work they move is separate from their ethics, while some in business casual trying to get respected, and those without work too often get neglected. Those who cross borders for work get disrespected. Where pride is all in and strength is all through. We celebrate jazz but dip when we see blue. City still brews. If it's black, you see blue. If it's 12 and it's shots, then we don't expect the truth. Congregation looking to heaven, seeking answers in these trying times. It's black still in the hour of chaos, the activists trying to change the time. Prayer protest is one way, penning words over a groove is mine. Like shorties coming through the pages, seeking their answers in these written rhymes. Listening to the music, finding freedom in the bass line. Inhale, exhale, blowing smoke along the skyline. My mindset is I shine, you shine, I grind, we grind. Ain't nothing worth it easy, here struggle is a pastime. Can't nobody tell you about overcoming, so success is in due time. I mean, I live in dirty Durham. I got love and pride for Durham. Blood, sweat, and tears for Durham. But scars are like stripes for the soldiers who work to earn. I drifted off to the sound of Nas's Illmatic playing in the background. And as I drift deeper in the slum of the words started to overcome my dreams, next thing you know, I'm walking down the block, I see a kid at the bus stop. I stop, we talk hip hop, and I feel like I'm Nas in the park with Shorty Doo-Wop. He telling me he rhymes, so I asked him what he rhymed about, and I listened to the words that he give me up out his mouth, the rims he want to have, the cars he want to choose, the women he want to date, how he smoking purple, the money he gonna make in his fame up in the industry. I asked him if he made it, was he still gonna remember me? He said maybe, so I laughed a little dude. He's like, poet, I'll let you rock some ad-libs, maybe do an interlude. He said that black card, yeah, he had to have it. I said you can't define a man by a piece of plastic. Cat Stacey Augman thinking they're running rebels being played by a shark, happy to ice their bezels. If you never realized you're playing for the devil, so you set your sights high and you never ever settle. He was like, okay, old man, I see you got a little something with you. He was like, but where your bars at? I said, where my bars at? I said, I don't do illusions. I don't do the parlor tricks. You vote these bastards relevant. I say after politics, rebellion on my vote cords and fire on my tongue. Arrive on these pages till the all comes undone. I write like a young Stokely, so when I hit a stage, I changes on the way. Lyrics, Kwame Ture, power in the shadows in the absence of light. I know black power only right at midnight. Look into my eyes, my frowns suggest tension. I put text on the track for your reading comprehension. I deliver rainbows for souls that are hurting. Swagger, Jesse Jackson, Purpose, LeVar Burton. Ask me if I'm ready, I tell you for certain, especially when I know I really put the work in. Every day is preparation, dreaming is rehearsing, and when I speak it means being God is conversing. I said, are you afraid to win? Are you afraid to lose? Are you afraid to accept responsibility? Are you afraid to choose? I seen people tie the noose and climb up the tree rather than be the person they're supposed to be to that strange fruit. Would you rather live a lie to learn the truth? I can look in your eyes and see you don't want it. I can listen to you talk and see you ain't ready. And I'm watching you write your rhymes. You can't even hold your pen steady. What you nervous? But you might win and have to actually walk in your purpose. You see a mountain, I see a molehill, you acting like it's insurmountable, but I don't think you want to be held accountable. Because didn't Moses find God at the top of a peak? He got a deal, God produced 10 tracks. He returned to them people with a classic, rock them jams, got distribution. That means your grind is your crime, so tell me what you've been doing. If your dreams are over there and you still standing here, the only barrier to your progress is fear. Oh, you telling me you in the studio pounding out tracks. That ain't the way to beat the machine. John Henry died like that. What's your stage show like? What's your concepts work? What's your business is like? With a variety in your verse? You might as well sit on the sideline and watch us work. Watch us go after the silently wait. Watch us make moves and silently hate. You playing. I'm trying to feel what you're talking about, but I can't grasp what you're saying, so you don't understand. We can't waste any time because it's promised written for us at the finish line. because I was a hero whenever I touched the mic, but now they call me a menace like I'm a dark knight for calling out frustration. All of us got pent. The game's got two-faced, the industry's hardly dent. The cats are hangover, and their videos are proof. They drunk off the hype that they sold on the roof. Our lives under attack, but nobody bothers to warn us. Because when they talk about black lives, all they want to argue is twins and transformers, but I'm talking about our lives and how we can transform them. So I'm sharpening up my pen, I'm tightening my delivery, giving you these sun rays and metaphors and similes, so all of it's like how they sound so vividly. They got you in the club popping bottles with people you don't know, because the label told you to put on a show. You tell me what them bars like. They got you stuck behind walls of concrete, looking in your mama's eyes, a tear goes down her cheek because they've tried to make you act like you was really from the streets. You tell me what them bars like. You realize the standard's been set so high that you can't reach because you never bothered to listen to the lessons we tried to teach you. Tell me what them bars like. What your bars like. Bars. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. We're not gonna be rocking too much longer, but you know, this is a beautiful catharsis. And so that's part of what this is all about. There's a couple of more things that I want to share before we get out of here. And this will be up on my Facebook Live. The video will also be shared on YouTube, and I'll make sure to share back around the link so people can come and check them out later. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man, and just the opportunity to be able to be a part of a beautiful, beautiful community, both here in the Triangle and across the state of North Carolina, of some amazing, wonderful artists, including all of my family across the country, all my folks across the South. Love, peace, love to everyone. Everyone out on those streets, everyone lifting their voices, everyone passing around necessary and relevant information, cutting through the noise to make sure we get the proper context. Everyone, you know, offering support and solidarity. Everyone thinking about what they're going to do as we sustain this energy to kind of push for change. And all of the effort, man. We need it all. And I see y'all. I'm with you. They deny us and they try us, the outcomes the same. We get painted as aggressors, they ignoring the claims. If the outcomes prearranged, if the justice ain't the same, can you understand the pain? Are you adding up the names? So tell me about a young girl's choice when she's sitting in the office with a suit who say you want the truth, protect the perpetrator like he a birth reproach, and try to make it seem like it was her choice. When a baller puts a dollar sign, tell me about the bottom line, administrators tapping like they all just on the chorus line, this dancing cue. This here ain't the proof. That's why I'm spitting fire when I'm up in the booth. When that talk outline lets you know that it's proof. If the devil took a bite, that's a mark from his tooth. How long before we see that the beast been loose? How long we gonna sit back and let them feast on our youth? Ain't no need to be afraid of get stuck in the fray. We gonna make a stand right here. So the God I pray, we resisting all oppression with a right hand raised. Let them know and see the change on the set of the way. Well. Man, there's a painful history, man. Painful history out there that we gotta reconcile. I look atop a hill and see twins, arms stretched, haggard skin, blowing in the breeze with their friends. They wear frowns now, but I believe that the one time they were smiling until they had to see those who were buried beside their roots. I mean, ain't that what devils do with the truth? A wooden embrace slumped by ropes wrapped around the throats of sopranos hum bass notes when caught. And ain't that how you show the devils come covered in midnight? Don't you hang fallen angels as proof? There ain't been enough kisses in fall to erase the picnics of summer. Ain't been enough Easter egg hunts to erase the sound of march steps and torches. Daddy tied a swing to a branch once. Twins saw that tie and cringed, started to bend. That first strong breeze, we found that limp on the ground, tired lane, on a bed of leaves, knotted noose dangling. We didn't know what happened, so Daddy, he tried it again. It happened again. Why did it keep happening? Ain't that what we've been asking for years? I guess that what that tree knew best, everything you needed to know. Everything you needed to know is right there. And that's when you're worn down by all you have to tread. What you need most is rest. We played hide and seek there once, twice, but never felt right. We tried to play hide and go get it. Because the last time someone did it was when John escaped in the middle of the night with his son and his wife in trees. They remember when the men and hounds sit out in the dark and trees will always remember what it means to be found, because they will always carry with them that bark. They will always remember that crack when insolence was warded with the portraits of trees, whipped onto black backs. Them trees be knowing. See them trees be griots, telling tales of the rise as possible in the darkness that looms. Them trees be tombs. Ask Isis and Osiris about what can be raised from the trunks. Them trees, they be pyramids pointing towards heaven from roots spread wide. Open them up. Ain't the riches of rings and the wisdom of ages found inside. They tell me that some used to say that everything you needed to know about faith was in the woods. Because when you're in the fields, don't you dream them trees split like Red Sea? Ain't that big house where Pharaoh be? Ain't the other side of that forest like New Testament? Don't the leaves fall and resurrect 3 months later? Then they have church in the clearing. Wasn't them stumps the first altars? Pastors elevated to spread the gospel, and ain't they been replacing God with men? That there be an evangelical forest. Mama Nature said, look at her babies. See how they've grown. She said their father been known for immaculate conception, but rarely do he get credit for tending to these others. Them twins ain't fools. Devils want them believe bastards, so that when they get chopped down, don't nobody cry for sap spilled, for their sisters and brothers killed. Ain't that real familiar? Me and them trees be kindred. Me and them trees be understanding. That's why when we meet both haggard, heavy, and frowning, we be happy to see each other still standing. Trees. Two more pieces. And then I'm going to go. You're going to go. We're going to continue to push. Now, I'm in the bathroom one morning, getting ready, and as I run the water, I noticed something dangling suspended just to my left, a few inches above the toilet in the corner of the bathroom. My eyes focus, and immediately I tense up. It's a spider. Now my heartbeat quickens, and I'm starting to get a little frantic as I immediately scan the room to try to find the best way to eradicate this threat. I settle on a paper towelette. It's easy, encompassing, clean. I can grab, squeeze, and throw it away with no remorse. It's perfect. Now, I do consider letting it be for a moment, wondering if we can possibly cohabitate in this house without violence or disruption. I think briefly of a family, little cretins waiting for daddy to come home. Funny how it's always a daddy. Like mama couldn't have spun as functional of a web. Like mama couldn't have made the same trek here with as much determination and deliverance. But my fleeting patriarchal sense of compassion was shorter than an Animal Planet commercial break. It had to die. Now, I'm afraid of spiders. I have been since I was a child. I see them in the house, they gotta go. If I see them in the car, either they gotta go or I gotta go. If they get missing before I find them, the car gotta go. There are no other options. If I see a spider on the outside of my windshield, I wonder if I have to get out of the car because I worry about sneak attack. The fear me is the spider can never survive. Doesn't matter that I'm bigger. I've seen National Geographic. Doesn't matter that I have control. I've heard about spider bites. I've seen webs everywhere. I hate running into them. Why they gotta be there outside? I've seen Spider-Man. I've seen what contact with them can turn you into. Now, it's funny though. I only kill them where they are, in spaces that belong to me, that I claim, that I hold authority over. If I see them, it's a confrontation I must win. It doesn't matter what kind of spider it is. I don't need to know its background. I already know that there are dangerous spiders, and anyone that I see fits the description. Now, I don't normally look to kill things. Well, just bugs. Bugs in places I didn't invite them to. Bugs that don't look like me or look like anyone I respect or love. Those are other things, and I hate spiders the most. Some say they're necessary. Some say they have value, but I don't think so. See, some people say there are things that bother me they're willing to deal with, work with, and handle. Nah, I don't care. They should know to stay away or they will die. Now, never been bitten by a spider. Never been attacked, even though I call it that when I run into its web, destroy its neighborhood, destroy what it built, its work, its life. I've never seen a spider in a menacing pose. Never seen it reach for a weapon. Just look scary. Just look like danger. I've never given it warning, but I know it knew I was there. I've never seen it raise its legs, but it must be prepared to retaliate. I've never given it rights. It's considered my survival right and just. Time is of essence. I call it a life or death situation. It doesn't die on the first squeeze. It's resisting. I didn't close the paper fast enough. It's fleeing, trying to escape. That is a violation. Lethal force is not necessary. I smashed it against the wall. I made a mess. But there are more than enough ways to clean it up. Someone, either I or someone else would do it, make it go away. I just got to explain my side. Nobody cares about any other. Judge me for what I've done and I'll be acquitted. After all, it's just a spider. Aren't there more than enough of them? Are there any good spiders anyway? I will tell everyone it was a struggle. The danger was imminent. The stakes were high. That I had to act quick. That it should have complied and stayed away, or complied and died quickly. I will say it was a threat, probably up to no good. Hanging there about to cause problems and getting into trouble. They will listen to my report and call it following protocol. And someone somewhere will sing an itsy bitsy memorial. Someone wonder if Spider is coming home. A bunch of eyes will find out how vicious fear is. How being somewhere where someone else thinks you don't belong can leave an empty web in remembrance, like chalk outline on asphalt. It's Sunday, y'all. And, you know, so often in the midst of demonstrations and meetings and mobilizations, you know, one of the things that I would do is I would try to create space for folks to be able to come and for artists to be able to deliver these messages that are so necessary. And it's because I know the power of these spaces we hold, these venues that we hold. When I think about them, man, it's on a day like this, being a Southern boy, raised by Southern matriarchs, I think about it being Sunday in paradise, whether it's, you know, Sunday at dinner at church or Sunday dinner at Big Mama house or cookouts and celebrations, to learn that in the midst of everything you face, how important it is to celebrate every milestone. Baby's graduation from kindergarten, a new job, graduation, you know, successful surgery. Like we gonna celebrate the moments, our moments, and that's important. These venues that we hold, these spaces that we curate, are important. So my last piece today is about that, because that's what part of this was. I couldn't be out amongst artists, so I decided to just carve this space in the middle of my living room to make this a venue for a moment. And I appreciate anybody paying attention now and anybody who checks the video out later. This is called Sunday in Paradise. Venue, home, stage, porch, mic, picture, audience, welcome guests, words, libation poured into minds that could use a strong proof of what this art can do. Pen, utensil, paper, fine china, thoughts, recipe, heart, stove, words, a meal cooked until well done, then laid out for a feast that is intended to feed those who need it. We call this a Sunday in Paradise. A meal fit for fellowship. This is a gathering of God's children, an escape from the burden, a refuge from the pain, a sanctuary, a haven for the hapless, who daydream with the sun and find peace in the middle of the night. A beloved faithful who pray at midnight and thank the Lord for another sunrise and don't falter at the sight of storm clouds, because around here, when the sky sheds tears, we just dance in the rain. This here be a dirt church, a body of believers who laugh like mass choir, cast wisdom like scripture, and say amen and thanks for the blessing of a good word. Walking down to that front porch is like communion service. This slice of life is my experience. Is broken for you, take it. So as you face your trials and tribulations, you will remember that you can overcome anything this world does to you. My ink is my covenant, poured out for the many who don't get to speak for themselves. Drink it in. Let it be a sign that you do not have to live in silence. Your voice is a revelation we have been waiting for. We call this a Sunday in Paradise. An invitation sent and received, a moment etched in time, a place in our souls, a chance to be inspired, uplifted, encouraged, understood, an opportunity to learn, express, connect, and be recognized. So you're going to get full around here. You're going to get fed around here. You're going to get high. You're going to get drunk. You're going to get love around here. There's an abundance of it. We knew you will come, enslaved in the kitchen to prepare this and made everything just right. Then here served as a prayer circle, a renewal of the spirit where you can rededicate yourself to the mirror image of glory you are. Around here, we pour a little something straight, no chaser, for those who like for it to burn a bit, you know, ignite a fire inside. And can't we be honest here? Can't we share our hopes, our fears, our dreams, and struggles here? Ain't each story told a blessing and a necessary evil? Ain't it sometimes both? Ain't each poem spoke a testimony? Ain't it off in the right place and right on time? This here be a Sunday in Paradise. It is the opening of a home for the purpose of providing a place to call welcome, call inviting, call accepting, call ours, and ain't no goodbye. It's just a later understanding that y'all can come on back around here again, because ain't no celebration like this. Ain't no freedom like this. Ain't no glory. Ain't no amen like this. Ain't no better knowing. Ain't no better feeling. Ain't no better way to be you right now than to be right here. I appreciate all of y'all. I thank y'all so much. It's a powerful thing to be able to come together. It's a powerful thing to be able to share our gifts and talents. It's a powerful thing to survive, to resist and survive. Because when we win, I want us all to be able to celebrate it, to lift our voices up, to honor those that didn't make it, honor those that showed us the way. And the earth is going to quake with the reverie. Because we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win.